Please, can we give ourselves a round of applause for coming very early? Yeah, I'm glad to welcome everyone to Worldstage Economic Summit 2025. I think we've used this venue for about 2 or 3 times now, so we are used to this place, and we are used to the fact that people normally come late when we hold our event here. And I think it has to do with the proximity to the city, people coming from the mainland. So, but notwithstanding, I want us to benefit from the fact that we came early so that we don't wait, and start, regretting coming late into any event. So we're going to start, and other people will join us. So I believe we're going to have a fruitful deliberation today. So I want to quickly recognize the presence of the chairman of the EFCC, who is ably represented by Mr. Adeleye Samuel. So you are welcome, sir. And then the Bank of Industry, their office is just a close to from here. When I was speaking to the person that will be coming yesterday, I told the person that you are not going to spend money on transport. You just walk, down here, and so we will receive them as they come. And then I want to also welcome our guest speaker today, Dr. Adeleye, for turning up on time too. We are actually waiting to see what the academia have as far as addressing the issue of low productivity in Nigeria. So I want to believe that what they are going to talk about will be, similar to what the operator in the economy also have. So that at the end of the day, we have something, we have a communique that we can actually present to the government and also the private sector on how to actually turn around the economy. So welcome, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. This event too, there's also a portion of this event too that is going to be the award. If we are the the operator of economy in terms of we are the one that actually how do I put it, the macros, the one that actually research into the economy to actually gauge the tempo of economy. So we also know that we must be able to also give recognition to companies that are doing beautifully well. So we've done a kind of research, and we'll be able to agree on companies that are actually capable, that are doing the best in their sector. So they are receiving certificate of excellence for brilliant performance during the year. So that will be part of the program today. So some organizations that are already here, the representatives are already here. That at the right time we are going to give them an award, for performance in terms of extraordinary contribution to the economy in this particular year. So I have my speech written, and I will read it, and then any other speech that we're going to present today will also make them available, for the media and every other participants to this event. So, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, including the media, it is a great honor and privilege to welcome you to, Worldstage Economic Summit 2025, with the theme tackling the issue of low productivity in Nigeria. We are looking at the issue of low productivity in Nigeria. So it is very actually interesting to note today that we are discussing this theme coming from the backdrop of our theme for Worldstage Economic Summit 2024, which was Nigeria setting a stage for business and economic recovery. That was what we discussed in the year 2024, setting a stage for business and economic recovery. we normally ensure that our team has something to do with economy, something that we actually make positive impact in the economy. So anytime we hold our event here, we must be rest assured that we're going to be discussing the issue of economy. So if we ask whether the economy has actually recovered in 1 year since what's the economy 2024, I'm sure the answer we actually likely get is yes. As the economy actually recovered, you know, we may likely, agree that yes, there is some kind of element of recovery. So Nigeria's economy has certainly shown strong signs of recovery, marked by significant GDP growth. So increased foreign reserve and what a more stable foreign exchange rate. So, however, despite this macroeconomic recovery, challenges like high food inflation, widespread poverty, and high cost of living persist for many citizens. So, so between what's the economy 2024 that we had at Ikeja, Ibis Hotel to be specific last year, and now four major tax reform were actually enacted by the federal government, and specifically in June 2025. So to actually improve revenue collection, combination of high inflation and also weakened currency has actually severely eroded household purchasing power. Since then, and many households are actually struggling to afford basic necessity. So, and this actually is leading to change in consumption patterns, such as rationing food and seeking cheaper alternative. I don't know the kind of the option that we are actually adopting in our homes, but I want to believe that we are no longer behaving or consuming the way we used to do before. So people are adapting one way or the other. So I have my own. So if you want me to if you want to share my experience with you, I'll be glad to do that in the course of this summit. So for instance, what the World Bank actually they projected that caution optimism, with growth expected to accelerate modestly, in the coming years. So that is a modest assumption. And assuming sustained, that means as if the monetary discipline and the structural reform are sustained. So they are hoping that there's going to be a light at the end of the tunnel. And we rely a lot on World Bank statistics. So whenever they say something about Nigeria, we normally take it serious in Worldstage. So this makes it easy for us to actually choose the theme for this year's summit. And what are we talking about this summit? We are talking about tackling the issue of low productivity in Nigeria. That's what we are discussing today. So the logic is that if we can get the economy to produce, high food inflation, widespread poverty, and the high cost of living will definitely be checked. So if we can get the economy to produce, most of the time we lament issue of low productivity. So but if we can get the economy to produce, we are very sure that the issue of inflation will be put to check. So we are actually currently have what we currently have is that while many are working, almost half of Nigerians are what estimated to be poor. I don't know how many of us here today that can boast that I'm not poor. So maybe our lecturer from the University of Lagos, I'm not sure they are among the people that are poor because for you to be a doctor, in like if you are in a country like Canada or United States, if you are at that level, irrespective of where you are working, you cannot be poor. So what are we talking about here now? We are talking about the fact that almost half of Nigerians are estimated to be poor, living below national poverty line, with multidimensional poverty of 63%. So it's a serious problem. And income poverty of 40%. So just because of what? Because we are not doing the right job. the right job are not available. There are people that are, they study microbiology, but you see them riding Okada along the Lagos road. So people are not doing the right job. Some people are working, but they are not doing the right job. They are not doing the job they are trained to do. So those are some of the challenges that we face, in this country. So flashing back again to our last year team, if Nigerian economy is actually recovering, so how do we get it to deliver high productivity jobs, and to raise living standard? How do we get the economy to produce the kind of job that will suit, our career, that will make us happy, that will make us to be comfortable, that yeah, I'm living, right. So how do we do that? So with the evidence of structural transformation, there remains concerns that the pace is insufficient. That means the space of recovery, to propel industrial take-up, as industry's shares of employment increasing only marginally over the past 20 years. So while low quality jobs characterized by high, informality remains high at 92.6%. So most of the jobs that people are doing are not the kind of job, that they went to school to study, and at the end of the day, they are not living well, they are not happy, and they are not, happy. I think that's the best way to put it. So it is important that as we discuss low productivity today, we should not lose sight of government reforms like subsidy removal, exchange rates unification, aim to stabilize, subsidy removal, and then the macroeconomic reforms and tax, changes to address these, issues. When we are talking economy, we must not forget that government is also doing something. Then we must be able to, ask ourselves, is the government doing the right thing? Are we comfortable with what government is doing? So that is the essence of, forum like this. So the question we should be able to answer with this summit is whether these reforms are effective enough, or are there other alternatives to spur economic productivity? When during the was it during the Abacha regime or Babangida that government introduced SAP, and they said there was no alternative to SAP. So that was during military era then. But today, we are in a civilian regime, so we should be able to ask ourselves, is there alternative to the reforms that we currently have? So, as the GDP grew by 3.19% in second quarter 2024 and 4.23% in second quarter 2025, some analysts, project, lower growth for 2025 due to factors like lower than expected oil production and insecurity. I want to, emphasize insecurity. So, interestingly, insecurity is attracting more attention in recent times, including from abroad. I want to believe you know what I'm talking about. Insecurity is part, of the economy, is impacting the economy negatively. So actually, it affects economic activity. So economic productivity will be a mirage without security. If security is not effective, if we are not getting this security right, we will not. There are some cities in Nigeria that they cannot sit down like this and hold conferences. There are places in Nigeria where people are lamenting, either their loved one have been kidnapped, and all those sort of things, insecurity. So this ought to be fixed. This have to be fixed. We need to really solve this problem. So it will be helpful if the federal government. This is my own, kind of suggestion now, that it will be helpful if the federal government can flow with the current momentum and grab the right strategy. What are we talking about? The right strategy, including possible foreign assistance to finally end insecurity. The foreign assistance in terms of the fact that countries like United States are very interested in the state of insecurity in Nigeria now. So that is something that we must look at. So with President Donald Trump, he threatened to launch attacks Nigeria due to insecurity and related issues. So I personally believe that our government can engage him and agree on joint military exercise that will flush out the terrorists. After all, if Boko Haram has been existing since the Olusegun Obasanjo administration of 1999 to 2007, and we are yet to see the end of it till now. So we don't need anyone to tell us again that we need help. We need help to actually sort out this insecurity. So if we need America, if America is ready to help in a more respectful way that will respect our sovereignty and that will do the job, clean and neat, and we end this Boko Haram and all this terrorism in Nigeria, it's good for every one of us. That is my own, opinion. So we will be actually relying on the distinguished speaker today and the panelists, at today's summit to discuss evidence-based strategies to generate jobs. Everything is about generate job. Are we ready to generate job? What are we doing to generate job? How do we do it to boost productivity and lift, people out of poverty? So when we are out of poverty, we'll be happy. People will be happy to, come out to, to forum like this to have good time to, network, to connect and do business, and put food on the table, give what's it called, soup money for madam at home, and everybody will be happy. So Worldstage Economic Summit over the year has actually been consistent in addressing economic challenges through deliberation and the recommendation of practicable solutions with public and private sector engagement as we are having today in the innovative setting, to inspire new thinking in business, policy, formulation, implementation, economic reform and development. So that is what Worldstage Economic Summit is all about. We take economic issue very important and we bring the best people, the best of brain to deliberate, and then come up with a solution that we can, send to government, that we can private sector can also use them. So and that's why we are here today. And I also mentioned the fact that the award aspect of it is also something that I will speak about later. What we did was that we actually able to send a kind of questionnaire to stakeholders for them to actually decide the company that are doing rightly, correctly in their area of specialization, and we are able to get the best of the company in Nigeria and our institution, that deserve certificates of, honor, of appreciation for good job they are doing. So at the end of the summit, without waiting too much of time, we're going to give them that certificate of, recognition for the job well done. So I'm very hopeful that the outcome of our deliberation today will become part of valuable items or ideas needed to move Nigeria economy forward. So I appreciate your coming early, and I hope other people will join us. And I hope that we have a very good time today. Whoever is with you, make sure you collect his phone number. Make sure you network. It's not enough for us to just come here and go without even remember whether that we came today. We should be able to exchange vibes, exchange number. Never can know whether that person that's sitting next to you is your destiny agent, or what do I call it? So make sure that you network, and at the end of the day, I hope we're going to have a wonderful celebration today. So thank you for coming early, and I hope we are going to have a good time together today. Thank you.